What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics, and welcome to one of the most difficult videos I've ever attempted to make. And in full transparency, I've already posted on Instagram that I wasn't even going to make this video, but I said, screw it. I'm going to make it anyways. We're going to see what happens. This is definitely going to be a touchy subject for a lot of people. No matter who you are, you might have some strong feelings about this. I know the internet has had strong feelings about this book for months, and it just came out today. So let's get into it. Do not forget to check the description of any and all my videos for fantastic resources in this amazing hobby like online retailer, Big Time Collectibles, JustinComicx cleaning and pressing, and you can even submit to grading services, and ABX Comics and Games. If you need a local comic shop to set up a pool list at and you don't have one, check out ABX Comics and Games. They are the community's comic shop, and they do free shipping on orders over $100. Tons of people right here on YouTube have now switched over to ABX so that they don't miss out on cool books like Absolute Batman Annual 2025 by Daniel Warren Johnson and a handful of other people. So this book has been making a big splash on the social medias. I noticed this book months ago when it was announced because I'm a huge Daniel Warren Johnson fan, absolutely love Absolute Batman. And here we are with two of these things I really enjoy coming together like butt cheeks. And why did it make such a big splash? Because as soon as they announced this book, the internet picked it up and started saying, hey, look, Batman's going to be fighting white supremacists, which is not necessarily new for superheroes at all. Superman's already smashed the Klan, thank God, and Batman's fought white supremacists in the past, and that's kind of a common trope in comic books, the old KKK and stuff like that. Nothing new at all about it. So why is it so polarizing now? I think that's where things get complicated with this. And before we even get into this, I do want to point out, I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers at all. I'm not talking about the story, the context, or anything like that. I'll get into a little bit of it. It's going to be very vague, nothing more than what we already know about the issue kind of deal. If you want a full breakdown of this issue, and like a full breakdown, myself and Sector 2815 do the DC Comics deep dive every Monday on his channel, which is always linked below. But this book, Absolute Batman Annual 2025. They first announced it in September when they announced he's going to be fighting white supremacists. People started getting mad, and I've spent some time trolling through the comment section on all kinds of posts about it, and it seems the vast majority of people are either blindly praising the book or blindly mad at the book because they feel like in the current climate of things with the political social media environment, this is targeted. Now, obviously, no one would really disagree at all, except for minor exceptions, which aren't even enough to count, that white supremacy is awful. It's absolutely bad. Nazis are bad. Like, everyone agrees with that. But in today's climate, people also use those terms so loosely that they've almost lost any and all meaning. And I think that's where it gets kind of a hot topic on the internet. So once you get past that, we can get to the point where we can judge this book based on its own merits. And that's what I was able to do when I read this. I will tell you, if you are mad about this book or overly excited going into it, both of y'all might be a little upset by it because this book does have a message to tell, and it's its own story that doesn't have to do with white supremacists. How do you know that? Well, have you read this and you think I'm wrong? Think this one simple thing. If you take the villains out of this story and replace them with any other villains in the world, whether it be an inner city gang from Chicago or whether it be the mutants from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, has anything changed about this story? Not one single thing. The story isn't about the white supremacists. The story in this is about Batman, the way he assesses the situation and the way he handles the situation. And this whole concept is handled masterfully by Daniel Warren Johnson in this issue. Now, he sees injustice happening, and you also get some of the most dynamic interior artwork you'll get out of any Absolute Batman comic. By far my favorite issue, art-wise alone. Daniel Warren Johnson is a 10 out of 10 creator in my book. I fell in love with him years ago on Murder Falcon, and nothing's changed to this day. This was an absolute treat, filled with Easter eggs and all kinds of little callbacks to the lore and mythos of the Caped Crusader. You can see some Professor Pig masks there. You see some of this absolute insane dynamic artwork and panel-to-panel layout in here. So it's easy to get hung up and get caught up by getting hit over the back of the head like a frying pan with some of the messaging that's in some of this, but it doesn't really go beyond surface level. And there is a deep, compelling story to be had here with Bruce and his relationship to his father and how that plays out in his actions now. And I don't want that message to get lost. So don't miss out on this issue because you're thinking it's one thing when it's not. Now, it is heavy-handed and it is right in front of you with the intentions that he had with that, but that's okay. That's his message to tell. And again, there's a story deeper than that in the book. It goes on. Like, I mean, it is frying pan in the back of the head. Like, the whole salute, the yelling white power, it's absolutely crazy. He even demonizes police officers in the book, which is nothing new either. I do want to remind everybody, I want to take a pause through this as we go, because these are the things that are going to get a lot of readers hung up. But keep in mind, comics have always been more complex than just a surface level. This is the message. That's all it is. A good writer adds layers and levels to things, and that's what Daniel Warren Johnson did. It's easy to forget that in today's climate, though. In Batman comics, for the longest time, longer than most of us have been around, corrupt cops and corrupt government officials have gone hand in hand with Gotham. All the way back to Batman Year One, with Gordon trying to get on the force and having to deal with his partner and everything. Even in Batman Begins with Flask, even in the new Batman movie. Hell, the reason Two-Face got created in the Dark Knight trilogy was because of corrupt cops. That's a thing. But keep in mind, when you're the ones on the internet saying that Batman would absolutely stand against this and stand against that, keep in mind, his very best friend in all of comics is a police officer, Officer Jim Gordon. Batman stands with law enforcement. He stands with law. He doesn't stand with the corrupt ones. Batman stands for justice. In Absolute Batman, issue number 1, the debut issue, the debut moment we see Absolute Batman, he goes down to fight impossible odds to save an entire building full of law enforcement officers and government officials against gang members, against insane people. Batman stands for law and justice. He doesn't stand for corruption. So it's easy for us to paint things one way or another, but it's always more complex than that. These people are crazy, psychopaths, disgusting individuals, and Batman would absolutely do what he does to them in this issue, which I will not spoil. It was amazing, and the way Daniel Warren Johnson presents it, it is huge. It's dynamic. Dude, those page dropper moments. So don't think it's one thing when it's another. You get all the classic stuff that you'd expect to see that's not new to comics, but don't miss out on something good because you're reading too much into it. Now, does Daniel Warren Johnson go overboard on some of his social media stuff? That's up to you to decide. Everyone's mileage may vary. But if you pick up this comic and you read it simply for what it is, this is an amazing issue of Absolute Batman. This is an amazing story, and it doesn't end the way you think that it will. This is only half of the book. The whole second half of the book is a completely different angle, completely different story, and it's also kind of has horror movie vibes to it, where Batman is the monster in the shadows around the corners. You don't know where he's coming from, and it's another amazing story. But don't let social media ruin this for you. I think that you will enjoy this book. If you've enjoyed Absolute Batman thus far, you'll absolutely enjoy it. And if you think that this is heavy-handed, maybe it is. Maybe it absolutely is. But they didn't lose the message through the message. You know, they didn't lose one message for another. Does it have an agenda to it? All artists do. All creators do. But they don't lose the heart and the spirit of this book whatsoever. So I really recommend everybody going out, trying this one out for yourself. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. I'm very interested because this is going to make a huge splash today when it releases. And yeah, it's gonna be wild. The internet will be fun. Maybe they did this because they knew it would get a big reaction. You know, one thing that this book has done is it's broke all kinds of record sales. DC is absolutely killing it. The entire Absolute line is crushing charts. Volume 1 of this made the New York Times best-selling list. And the way that you do that, the way that you sell stuff, is you have to remain relevant. And how do you do it? You get people talking about it ahead of time. So don't fall for the trick. Don't fall for the trick. Like I said, you can replace these people with literally anybody in the same exact story, and it changes nothing about it. So the message is not here. The message is here. And again, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. And it's a beautiful story between him and his dad when it comes down to it. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't judge anything too soon before you read it. What do they say? Don't judge a book by its cover. Until next time, we are Legion.